Do you want to have your dream team in EA FC 24? Footshop Store is the only one that you can buy without the risk of being banned. I've used it personally. They've worked very well with me, and they are very good and very reliable. If you do want it, like I said, visit the link in the description down below and use code CLUTCH for 5% off to get as many coins as you want. Yo, what's going on, guys? Clutch back again with another video for you guys, and today it is going to be another tactics video. Before we do get into it, if you haven't already, please drop a like on the video if you do enjoy it. Also, as well, please drop a sub as well if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the channel. If you drop a sub, it'll be much appreciated. Also, as well, if you do have any questions whatsoever, obviously let me know down in the comment section below. So yeah, like I said, it is a tactics video, and it is going to be the 4-4-2. The 4-4-2 for me is probably one of the best formations in the entire game, and a formation that, for me personally, I absolutely love using. For me, it's an absolute must-have. As you can see, I've been using this team with somehow my first owner team. I think it's absolutely incredible. I don't really know how this team's got as good as it has, but literally every single player is first owner, so we've managed to pack all of these, which is pretty crazy, I would say, and this formation has been helping me a ton with it. We've been getting some crazy results. We haven't been losing games, and like I said, the 4-4-2 is a massive help for that. Nice little drink break, and then we'll go. So again, defensive style, balanced. For me, it should always be balanced. If you ever see me without balanced on FC 24, call a doctor. Something's wrong. I need help. None of them are worth using. The three press tactics just make your players run around everywhere, and they drain stamina, and it's just not a good idea at any point. And drop back is absolutely useless, and it's the way people play if they hate life. So yeah, drop back's awful. So for me, it's always balanced. It is by far the best of the lot. So make sure you're using it, basically. Width is on 45. Again, for me, width is just an absolute, like, lock-in almost with my defensive width. For me, I just kind of feel like I found like the perfect balance between defending the wings and the central areas, especially with those through balls. They can be so deadly. So for me, having this 45 width, just making my fullback that little bit more narrow to try and mark those runs. Also, still having him wide enough that if my opponents do decide to go out wide, then I can defend that as well. So for me, like I said, 45 width is an absolute perfect kind of balance. Depth is on 50. It's a bit different to my usual. It's a little bit higher, I would say. Usually I kind of maybe go for a 45 or a 40. But I think with the 4-4-2, I'm trying to play like four. It's like obviously the three banks of lines. So I was just trying to make almost like I'm trying to think who kind of plays like it. I guess it's kind of like how Klopp plays in an extent, where they kind of really try and keep those lines up high and close together. I didn't want to try and create too many gaps within like in the team. So I kind of thought if I have a little bit of a higher depth, it just means the defense will just be that little bit closer to the midfield, and it will just mean that, you know, we're not as like vulnerable inside the little areas within the pitch. Obviously, it makes you a little bit more vulnerable to like through balls and generally just being attacked with through balls, but it's the risk you take when you are trying to press and just be more dominant on the ball, and I think it is definitely worth it. Build-up play is unbalanced. This one, like, the only argument I would say is probably for long ball. I think with the left mid, right mids, you can get some really good switch options, and just general over the tops, as well as having the two strikers. You can get some good over the tops as well. So I think long ball could definitely be a viable option. But for me, balanced is just the play. I just find they make kind of similar runs to long ball anyway, without kind of fully committing your team to playing a certain style of play, and you can kind of just trigger runs anyway if you're of a good enough level. So for me, long ball just isn't particularly necessary, but can be good if needed. Chance creation is direct passing. Again, I think if I'm not using direct passing, you probably need to check on how I am, because it is just by far the best on the game. There isn't anything remotely close. Direct passing is just the absolute play. If you guys don't know what direct passing does, basically when you do go forward, it makes your players make better in behind runs. Now, why is that so broken? Because we all know how busted through balls are. Through balls are just the most guaranteed way of scoring goals on FC 24, and direct passing is just a big part of it. It has been for years, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. So make sure you are using it. Like, you can kind of get the most out of the tactic, as it says in the description of it, by using players with better attacking positioning and also sprint, like higher sprint speed and acceleration. Just having those players who can really break those lines and make those intelligent runs just make direct passing even more broken. Now my width is on 40. Now this is mostly because I don't actually like having my left mid, right mid that wide. If I was maybe using long ball, I might have it to 45 or 50, just to try and make him stay that little bit wider out and maybe have some good switch options on and those long balls. But for me, that's not really how I play. I like to play a lot more like ball to feet, passing, moving around, dribbling, and skill moves and things like that. So for me, having that 40 width does just mean the left mid, right mid get a lot more involved with the two central midfielders and the two strikers, and they're just generally in more threatening positions. So for me, 40 width is an absolute must use. And then players in the box is on 6. This is kind of like another one of those like must use ones for me. It's kind of been where I've found to be the best balance on FC24. I don't like having 5 because I don't feel like I have enough football full bodies in. And when I've used 7, I feel like there's just too many people committing forward. So 6 has kind of just been my sweet spot, really, of like what I find to work the best. And then I do have corners on 2 and free kicks on 1. Now, guys, we are going to be getting into the instructions. So I do have both of my strikers on stay central, get in behind. Again, this is mostly just to kind of utilise that direct passing that we was just talking about. I obviously have 2 very quick, very high attacking positioning players who both have 5-star, 5 stars. They're about as threatening as they come, and they can just absolutely utilise the direct passing to its fullest. These 2 are an absolute joke. So having both of them on stay central, getting behind, really does mean they just stay in these central areas and make those perfect through ball runs. It really does just balance out well with using direct passing and make us as hard to beat as possible. So I do have both of my central midfielders both on stay but while attacking cover centre. For me, I'm not the kind of person that generally attacks with my midfielders. I'm more that will use my midfielders to kind of recycle the ball and generally just defend pretty well and be good on the ball to kind of just move the ball from side to side, try and wait for those gaps to open up for my attackers. So yeah, just stay but while attacking cover centre, nothing too crazy there. We've obviously got the wide cover, so we don't need them on cover wing. We have both on cover centre just to protect those centre backs and just be good to recycle the ball. And now I do have both of my wingers on comeback on defence, cut inside, getting behind, get into the box for cross. Both are on comeback on defence just to make sure that when we do not have the ball, they'll just be basically offering us an extra layer of defensive support. They will still bomb on. They will not lose anything going forward. It just means their starting positions maybe on counter-attacks is a little bit further back because they're trying to help you defend. But I would say that is definitely worth it compared to what you get defensively. Cut inside is kind of like what I spoke about in the tactics, where I just kind of like to have my players a little bit closer together to help defend. And then also I do have them both basically on getting behind. This again is just to try and make sure they do get into those dangerous attacking areas that I want my players to get into. And then I have both on getting to the box for cross as well, just to make sure that they are available for back post headers, crosses, things like that, and just generally just be in and around the box to be threatening. I do have my centre backs and my goalie all on default instructions, and then I do have both of my fullbacks simply on stay but while attacking, just to make sure that, you know, we're as defensively strong as we can and we don't concede any silly goals. So yeah, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video, like I said, please drop a like, sub as well if you do enjoy this style of content. And if you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And also, if you guys do want your weekly games played by pros like me, Jamboo, and all the pros that work for us, please visit improveyourrank.co.uk. If you want your games played for Serie A, you can use code ITALY to get 15% off. And we are also taking bookings for Ultimate Team of the Season as well, if you guys are interested. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace.